Welcome back everyone, Sweet Battlescars here, and I am back with another unboxing video. Today we're gonna look at the Monster Hunter Figure Builder Plus Volume 5 by Capcom. This volume was released a few months ago, but I know I'm a little bit late to the game. I got this a few months ago in the mail, but I am only unboxing it now just because, as I've explained in the comments on several of my videos, I've just been busy with real life stuff. And sometimes you can't help it, but that stuff gets in the way. But anyway, we're gonna look at this volume here. I don't think volume 6 has been released yet, or maybe it has. Actually, that might have been a recent volume as well. So that's actually the most recent volume. Volume 5 is already a few months old. So let's take a look at the monsters in this volume, and we'll talk about volume 6 in another video. I don't have it yet. I hope I can get it soon. So here is the box, or one of the boxes for this volume, the actual box that encloses the figure. We get a little picture, a little snapshot of the monsters that are included in this volume. We can already see some old faces here, some newer faces, and so let's see what's in store in this box. So let me adjust my camera and let's get right to it. First in line is, who is this? Wait, is this a Glavenus? But we already got Glavenus in Volume 4, in Figure Builder Plus Volume 4, but this is the subspecies. This is, I believe, the Hellblade Glavenus. You can see by the different coloration on its, mostly like the armor on its back, the scales and horns, the spikes, if you will. On its back, it's a very fiery red. And yeah, these horns definitely look like they can be blades from hell, so maybe hence the name Hellblade Glavenus. It is a subspecies in Monster Hunter Generations, and he comes with his base and a little peg for posing him, and no extra piece for an extra monster this time. So, oh wait, here it is. Sorry, I spoke too soon. We got two little feet. Okay. So we're gonna put the little peg there, and he sits on his base just like the Glavenus on or in Volume 4. Exact same pose, exact same sculpt, exact same figure pretty much, except for the paint job. And it is a pretty cool paint job, and as a matter of fact, I have the regular Glavenus from Volume 4 here to compare, or for comparison. So there you guys can see that it's pretty much the same figure, except for the paint job, pretty much. It's still a nice figure nonetheless. I really like the paint job on this. It's nice to have. I just wish that they did, different poses, different sculpts, an actual different figure for the subspecies. But I guess, they're trying to cut cost and whatnot, so this is the easy way out. Anyway, nice paint job. You gotta look at the bright side, right? It's a very nice paint job. Very fiery red, very nice details all around. And as I've said, the figures in these new plus volumes are very nice. These figures are very nice. Top of the line. Very cool. We're gonna set them aside there and look at the next figure. We're gonna set our little extra pieces aside for our bonus figure, which is probably a translucent plastic once again. Let's see, who do we have here? And this is the Chameleios. I don't think this is the subspecies. I think he just looks like the regular Chameleios. So let's see here. We've got a base for him as well, and a tiny little peg for setting him on his base. And that's all about we get. It's everything we get, and we get an extra base for our extra figure. So the peg goes right into its belly, down there. Oh, I might need my table here to put it in there. There we go. And it's very easy to set on its base. It's a nice little figure, very translucent plastic in some areas here, like the tail and the feet. You guys can see that. You can see the black of the base coming through the plastic. It's a translucent plastic on its legs, on its different several parts of its body, and the paint job is nice, not extremely detailed, but the figure makes up for it. You guys can see all of the textures, very cool textures on the figure itself. So that kind of makes up for the very simple paint job. And I guess he doesn't really have that much coloration. I guess they can always put a little extra detail, but still an okay figure nonetheless. Very cool figure of Chameleios. First figure that I have of Chameleios, and I do believe, I don't remember, I think he is a new monster in Monster Hunter Generations. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but I don't think I've ever seen him in a previous game. Okay, first up we get a body or a torso for our bonus figure. Very pearlescent finish on this plastic, very nice. We're gonna talk about that later, but we can already kind of see who the extra figure is, or the bonus figure is. We're gonna set him aside and talk about him later. Okay, next monster we can already see is the Yian Garuga. And he comes in several pieces, so we need to assemble him. His two wings are here. We get a little peg, put him on his base, and we get the base itself. So very simple assembly. His wing goes in there, and then the other one goes in there like so. Very simple. The little peg goes into its tail in here, like so. There we go. And then we just put him on his base. Very simple assembly. Doesn't require much. And there is the figure in all its glory. Very nice coloration on its wings and back. Very nice paint job there. You guys can kind of see the details already in there. Very nice texture on its wings. Most of the wings on these monsters have very nice textures. They've done a really good job on these volumes, these plus volumes of Figure Builder. Very nice detail on its face there. He's a very light monster, not much materials to make him. Very little, material or plastic to make him. He's very thin, very lean. But he's a nice figure nonetheless. Yeah, what else can I say about this guy? He's alright. We're gonna set him aside there. You guys got a pretty good close-up of him. Yeah, I think that's about it. So let's go into the next monster, and oh, look at this guy. Oh, I haven't seen a figure of Agnaktor in a very long time. Okay, bonus piece for a bonus monster. We're gonna set it aside there. We get a base for Agnaktor, and wow, this Agnaktor is... I do already have an Agnaktor from the regular Figure Builder series, not the Plus series. So, not the Plus version, of course, but this is the Agnaktor in the Plus version, and let me tell you, I can already tell you, I don't remember Agnaktor looking this good. He looks fantastic. I wish I would have taken out my old Agnaktor for comparison. I apologize I didn't do that, but believe me, take my word for it, this is an improvement. Again, I'm gonna emphasize the fact that they don't call these volumes Plus for nothing, because they really do put a lot more effort into making these figures. So, right off the back, he feels a lot bigger. He is heavier, a little more dense. Yeah, he is a lot more, his weight is a lot more noticeable right away, right off, out of the box. The paint job is very nice. You guys can see here, he's in kind of his, I don't know, I guess he's not in his enraged state, because these parts, especially his chest, this is a weak part, and right now it looks like it's solid lava, like the lava on his chest has solidified into a hard rock, so as the rest of his body, so he's not in his fiery enraged state. So he's in his more cool, relaxed state, if you will. But you guys can see that the paint job is very nice. We have that solidified lava on his body here, very nicely rendered. And then the texture on his back is also very nicely done. You guys can see that they've taken a lot of time to paint in all the little spots, get all the highlights and shadows on these little parts of him here right on his back. Very nice detail on his face. You can see that his face is very nicely defined with all of the colors and paint nicely done there. The scales on the bottom of his body are nicely sculpted and nicely painted. Very nice figure. I'm very pleased with this figure. I think so far he is definitely a highlight in this volume. I like the older monsters. Maybe that's just me, but I really like it. I'm really enjoying the way they are revisiting some of these older monsters, and especially because they are doing them justice. They are rendering these guys in a very high detail. So very nice figure. He barely fits on his base. Yeah, he's really big for his base. He's significantly bigger than Glavenus. You guys can see there. He's a lot longer. So I guess they get better with scale too. You know, that's a pretty cool thing in my opinion. Anyway, so let's move on to the next figure. You know, very, very awesome figure of Agnaktor. Very pleased with that one. He might be my favorite figure in this volume so far. All right, a tail for our bonus monster, and this is no bonus monster here. This is Astalos, I think is his name. We're gonna get his pieces here, and oh, he does have a little peg here for his base, and he comes with a torso or body and then some wings, so we can assemble him. So this wing probably goes in there, yep, like so, and then the other one just connects to his other side like so, and everything snaps together nicely. And let's take a look at him before I put him on his base. The peg goes right there into its tail, but as far as the paint job, let me tell you, this guy is super sleek. They've given him like a clear coat of like a semi-gloss or a satin clear sealer. So you guys can see that his entire body is very glossy, very nice. It goes well with him. I think he's a very sleek looking monster. So it goes very good with his body here. Very nice all around. You guys can see that he is just shining away. Everything about him is very nicely painted, very nicely detailed. Let me see if I can get my light here a little closer. There you go. I think that might allow you to see his details a little better. Paint job, very, very nicely done. Lots of airbrushing here. You guys can see so that they can get those very nice tones. What can we call them? The different tones. They go like this tone here goes from like a light brown to like a dark purple. So very, very nice rendering here. I can't get tired of looking at that wing. That's a very nice wing. There we go. The movement of color is just very nicely done on his wings. There we go. The bottom of the wing is just the same amount of detail. And his body here, very nicely detailed. Here, all the little red spots on his tail. That green is just very fluorescent, very nicely painted. Details on his face, very good. Very nicely done. I'm very pleased with this figure. I think he might be rivaling Agnaktor as a highlight in this volume. Very nice figure. We're gonna set him on his little peg here so we can set him on his base. Okay, let's see. There we go. Peg is in place and he should just sit on the base like so. He's kind of floating in the air. So yeah, I gotta say the pose is very nice, very dynamic. The sculpt is just superb, very, very well done. And then the paint job is, I think, the most impressive thing about this figure. Just a lot of detail, a lot of meticulous detail went into making this guy. the transitions of color is what I meant to say earlier, are just phenomenal. Very, very nicely detailed. That's my favorite part about this monster, is the different transitions of shades, of tones, of color. It's just very, very good figure. Very cool. We're gonna set him aside there. I love the amount of detail that they're giving these figures now. And next figure is, okay, bonus piece. We're gonna set these guys maybe to the back a little bit so we can make some room. And he is also, I think, a new monster in Monster Hunter Generations. His name is Mizutsune, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Mizutsune, I think. Mizutsune. Again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering some of these names. This guy's name is very oriental, if you could say that. Mizutsune is, I think, the way you would pronounce his name correctly. So, again, I do believe he is a new monster in Monster Hunter Generations. Let's see, it's kind of tricky to get him on their bases sometimes. There we go, I think that should do it. Okay, so Mizutsune is a very, very cool looking monster, I gotta say. The colors on him are just crazy. Look at that. Splashes of purple and blue with golden here, and his whole body is rendered with this kind of pearlescent paint. You can see here, I hope the camera catches and does this justice. His scales and the rest of his body, the upper part of his body, is painted with this pearlescent paint. So it's got this pearl texture to it, if you can imagine that. And it's very nicely painted for one thing, but then throughout the tail and maybe the lower half of his body, we get all these splashes of purple and blue that just complement that pearl paint very nicely. And we get splashes of yellow here on his back, on those details. Very, very, very nice, very exotic looking. They did a very nice job with this guy. So already 3 amazing figures in this volume. They're all very great figures, but so far, I gotta say, Mizutsune, the Astalos, and the Agnaktor, I think, are my personal favorites, in my opinion. And I think, you know, some of the highlights of this volume. You know, this guy, the Hellblade Glavenus, is nice, but I wish they would have maybe given us a different pose. I mean, it is Monster Hunter Figure Builder Plus now, so I think they've been upping their game as far as like rendering these figures in very high detail. So I think they should up their game and maybe give us different poses for subspecies. I don't think that's too much to ask, right? But I guess they're not doing it. Anyway, back to the figure. Very pleased with this figure as well. One of my favorites in the volume. Very nice sculpt. Not much in terms of the pose that they've given him, but I guess there's not much you can do with this very long body. It's just kind of like Agnaktor there too. You have to kind of put him on his base, just kind of standing there, and this guy kind of does the same. He just kind of stands on his base. But the sculpt and the textures on him and the paint job are very superb, very nicely done. They did a superb job on this guy. So I have to compliment these figures. These are very, very nicely done. Okay, so those are the 6 figures in the volume itself. This is what the volume is composed of. And of course, we get this extra figure, and we already saw from this body, this torso gave it away. It is an unpainted version of Mizutsune. And again, I'm not a huge fan of these translucent figures. I wish they would just paint it a different way or give us something else. But you guys can see here that this is at least this is a very nice material, very nice plastic to look at. It kind of follows in, with this pearlescent finish. This is unpainted, of course, but the plastic itself has a pearlescent texture to it already in it. Or, sorry, not texture, but a pearlescent pigmentation. So that's actually infused into the plastic as it is still not a solid. So when it's still a liquid, this is the way I probably would do it. I don't know much about resins and plastics, but I have worked with those kind of materials a little bit in the past. So from my experience, from my limited experience, the way you would get something like this kind of pearlescent effect without actually painting the plastic, is to basically pigment it, to add the color into the plastic itself before it becomes a solid, and then cast it into your mold, and then it basically retains the color and any properties that whatever that pigment that you put into the plastic holds. So anyway, this comes with a bunch of tiny little parts, so you have to assemble this together. So let's see here. I'm gonna try to do it as quickly as possible. So here is his body, its torso. Let's put the head. Let's use this guy as a reference, kind of. So his head goes something like that. Yep. And my light is a little too bright. I'm gonna maybe dim it down a little bit just so you guys can see this guy a little better. There we go. Tail goes like so, and he's already a big long snake there. Back legs or hind legs are easy. There we go. And the front legs should go in like so. There we go. And there we go. So very easy to put together and assemble. And now that my light is dimmed a little bit, you guys can really see. There we go. Now I'm putting my hand over it, so it kind of casts a shadow on it, so you guys can see what I mean. It is still clear, translucent plastic, but because it's been pigmented with this pearlescent pigment, it really plays with the light in an interesting way. So at least, you know, since it's not painted, at least it's very pretty to look at. It's very pleasing to the eyes. It's nice. It's very nice to look at. So at least there's that, right? It couldn't give us a fully painted figure, so at least there's that. It's very nice to look at. Very pretty figure. I'm actually pleased with this one a little more than the other ones that are just like a red plastic or black or like a dark gray plastic, which in fact are all also pigmented plastics, but this one just has a different texture to it. And anyway, I think I've said too much about this. Those are the figures in this volume, guys. This video has gotten kind of long for my taste. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys like this volume? Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys like these sort of bonus figures that they've been giving us in these plus volumes of the Figure Builder series? Again, I particularly am not too crazy about them, but I guess they're okay. You guys can have one last look at it. There we go. So anyway, like I said again, let me know what you guys think. Do you agree, disagree? Do you like these figures? Again, these are the figures in Figure Builder Plus Volume 5. Very strong volume, I think, especially because of these three, in my opinion, here in the front. They really give a lot of strength to this volume. Overall, a pretty good volume. I think, you know, they've been doing a very good job with the sculpt and the textures on these figures. I think if they really wanted to please us and up their game a little more, they have to do something about the bonus figure. You know, just not just a repeat of the figure in the volume itself already, but, you know, at least maybe paint it in a different color or whatever. And then something for subspecies. I really wish they would, you know, give us at least a different pose of the same monster with a different paint job, you know. That's fine, but at least a different pose. But anyway, that's just me. That's my opinion. I still like this volume. I'll probably still keep buying them. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video. And please stay tuned for the next unboxing video. See you guys later.